Episode 15, back to the Mets. Nico, Mike, here with you. Not what you want, right? You take 2 out of 3, and I know, Nico, you're going to tell me that I'm greedy. You're going to tell me that, I want too much, and that's fine. I deserve that. But that needed to be a sweep in Colorado. And for me to really start feeling great about this team and getting, my hopes back up and being able to sit here and say confidently there's a chance, I needed a sweep in Colorado, and we did not get that.
You know what? I'm actually going to agree with you. I think the most important thing is winning series, and they've done that so far on this road trip. They're 4-2. They took 2 out of 3 in LA. They took 2 out of 3 in Colorado. Now they have to take 2 out of 3 in Arizona. But man, just knowing that they had a chance to make up for being swept at home by Colorado, it would have been so nice to do it at Coors, because now you're going to have to go the rest of the season always in the back of your head knowing that you went 2-4 against the Rockies. And if they do end up going on a run and get back into this race, if they end up missing the playoffs by a game or two, that series back in April at Citi Field is what you're going to be remembering. That
It,
could be the difference. So you wanted to sweep them here this week to almost make up for that. And then at least you could say, all right, we went 3-3 against them. You could live with that.
how about the A's series? I mean, I think we're going to look back on a lot of different series from early in this year and say, if they had one of these games, maybe it was the difference. Yeah, it was frustrating. It was very frustrating because you have the 2-0 lead. Obviously, you lose 2-0 lead. Austin Warren, by the way, is like, he is really good. I mean, what a find. He's been unbelievable in this bullpen, doing anything they have asked, whether he's open games, come in after the opener, pitch late in games and try and get out of jams. He almost got out of it, obviously, Saturday night in Anaheim. He's been unbelievable. But there are a couple of guys in this bullpen, Nico, that it doesn't make sense. And this is where I want to start. It's time to DFA Sean Manaea. I mean, the way that they have this bullpen constructed because of him right now, because he's a long man, he's unpitchable. And we saw that on Wednesday night when he comes into the game. And now you're forced to use your closer in a game in which you're up 5 runs, but now he loads the bases with 1 out. Enough of Sean Manaea. I don't care about the $25 million. Get him off of this team.
I think the biggest problem with having Manaea is it keeps you from adding another guy that you can use in late inning moments, right? Because it's Weaver, Williams, and Raleigh. Those are your 3 guys that are going to pitch, 8th, 9th inning situations. Braziban, I'd like to see them do that more, but it seems as though he's the guy that always is the first one out of the bullpen when the starter gets taken out, whether that's like the 5th, 6th, maybe the 7th. They need another guy that can get big outs late in the game, because we saw on Thursday, Craig Kimbrell's just not that guy. He's a future Hall of Famer. The guy was great for most of his career. He doesn't have it anymore. Putting him in a 2-2 game in the bottom of the 8th is not ideal for a guy that now has a 7 ERA. So they're going to need another guy that can pitch big moments, and they don't have it because Sean Manaea is taking up a roster spot. I was okay with it at first because the guy's making $25 million. And I'm understanding from David Stern's perspective where you say you don't want to just waste that money. You're trying to find a way to get something out of him. But now we're at a point where he can't even be reliable out of the bullpen. I don't see the need to have him on this roster anymore.
He has to be DFA'd. You have, obviously, Kimbrel. You mentioned Kimbrel. Tobias Myers was actually really bad on Wednesday night, but obviously not available to pitch on Thursday afternoon. Kimbrel's got to go as well. The experiment was what it was, right? I'm not going to get on them for that. There were injuries, there were needs. Okay, you bring him in. I don't think he's keeping a spot from somebody that's going to be an unbelievable late inning guy right now. But yeah, it's time to go. And now let's try something new. Like, there needs to be 2 new bullpen arms at least after this weekend. I mean, I don't know how you're not making the move with Manaea now, but at least for this weekend, you need to have 2 fresh arms in here after it.
I think the issue is that like I said, he doesn't want to just waste the $25 million. Like they were okay doing that. Billy Epler was very fine doing stuff like this. Like he was like, when we traded Scherzer and Verlander, we'll eat the money. We'll get rid of James McCann and still pay him. That's why in 2024 we all kept saying how they had a $300+ million payroll, but 90 million, almost 100 million of it was to guys that weren't even on the team. It
Yeah.
was Scherzer, Verlander, and James McCann. We haven't seen David Stearns be willing to do that yet, and I don't know if he's going to. The only time he did it was with Frankie Montas, and I think that was just a situation where he knew he was going to be out for the year anyway with the injury. So what's the point of keeping him? With Sean Manaea, he's going to sit there and say, "I could use this guy in the bullpen to, come in games where it's blowouts."
Yeah, it's not, and I think even with the way David Stearns operates and how he doesn't want to admit he's wrong, I think at some point it gets to a certain point, and I think we've reached that with Sean Manaea, where he is just literally unpitchable in any situation whatsoever. And how many times are you in these spots where you are getting blown out and you can bring him in? Because at this point, I don't think you can even bring him into an 8-0 game. Like, he's going to make the game close. So you can't even bring him into those. It would be one thing if he was a true long man, but he's not. He's just you're getting blown out and you don't care how much you lose by pitcher. And that happens how often?
The only thing I'll say is there have been times where he's come in and been good. Like the first example I thought of was the game against the A's, where Freddie only goes 6 innings, they're down 1-0, and he pitches the last 3 innings and shuts them out. Granted, they still lost the game 1-0 because the offense couldn't score, but he was able to keep them in the game and not allow the A's to tack on. It's in there. He's capable of doing it. Like we're not. Look at Tobias Myers. He kind of did the same thing, right? It was 8-0 when he came in. He allowed it to be an 8-4 game. But because it only happened once, we're like, oh, Myers will be fine. No big deal. There are occasions where Manaea can do it.
But at $25 million a year and what you have seen, like, yes, I'm not disagreeing with you. There have been flashes. But I think like when we look at his overall season and what he's done this year, he has been a detriment to this team. He has not been good. And I think that David Stearns has to, and this shouldn't even be a David Stearns call, right? Because, yeah, he spent the money on Manaea, but he decided to give him that money. But it's Steve Cohen's money. And if Steve Cohen is okay with eating that money, then I think they should, like, I think the move should just be made. Like, it's Steve Cohen's money that is being lost here.
Right. Well, if it's about the money, then that's ridiculous. But I think that's what it is because that's how David Stearns operates. I mean, he was willing to spend money this offseason. Yeah, sure. But like he's very particular in how he spends it. He was so against giving Pete Alonso an extension where he was going to be getting paid $30 million. But then he had no issue giving that money to Bo Bichette, Jorge Polanco, and Marcus Semien. Like, it makes no sense in how he's willing to spend because you'd think if he had all the money in the world, he would just go and get the best players. But clearly that's not what he's doing. He let Edwin Diaz walk and figured that Devin Williams would be just as good. He's not.
By the
why
way,
are you so weird about how you spend it?
did you see what I saw this when I woke up this morning. Did you see what Pete Alonso said about David Stearns?
I did.
I'm going to read this out loud. So Pete Alonso was not thrilled with how negotiations were going. This was, I'm pretty sure, during the first negotiation. So that was after the 2024 season. And Alonso tells Stearns, when my career is being evaluated for the Hall of Fame years from now, you'll still be fiddling with your effing formulas.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. It's I don't know how this is going to turn up. I don't know how this is going to end up. Like everything that's happened this offseason, everything that's happened the past few off seasons where all the faith and trust is in David Stearns. And I was talking to, other fans, the past couple of days, and I think everybody's on the same page as you and I with Stearns that like, yeah, we're pissed. Yeah, we'd like to see him go, but we kind of know he's not going anywhere.
But at what point does Steve Cohen actually like look at the results? Like if they don't turn it around, I understand that he trusts Stearns, right? He waited so long to finally get him. And this is already what, the fourth general manager in 6 years since Cohen bought the team. So you don't want to go back into the never-ending cycle of who's going to
How much is it?
run this team. I think this is the fourth GM.
He's the fourth. You had Porter, Scott, Epler, Stearns. Yeah, that's 4. Wow. Okay, yeah.
Not a good look.
Not a good look.
It's been 6 years and we're already on GM number 4. So I get it. You don't want to go through the whole process again of trying to find a new guy. But at what point do we look at the results and say he's been here for 3 years and they haven't even made the playoffs in 2 of them? Like, I know that we sit here and say it, but like, think of that. It's an expanded playoff. There are 3 wild card teams. If he doesn't get in the playoffs this year, what are we doing?
I can't even believe you're saying playoffs right now. Like, I can't. And you know what's funny? If they won yesterday and then went 2 out of 3 in Arizona, I was fully back. And listen, you sweep Arizona, you're exactly. I said 5-1. I said Monday you go 5-1 here, or after Monday 4-1 here. I could start to get excited again, but.
I mean, look at the AL right now. There's 4 teams that are above 500. There was 2 going into yesterday.
2
before the A's and Guardians both won to get back over 500. I think the Reds are on a huge losing streak. Like, I know it sounds crazy because we're in May and we shouldn't even be having these conversations. There's 6.5 games out of the third wild card right now. When they were in 2024, when they were 11 games under 500 in late May, they were 6.5 games out of the wild card. I'm not sitting here and saying that every year it's just going to magically happen the way 2024 did. You shouldn't have to rely on that. You can't just go into every year saying, who cares what happens in April and May? We'll just play 700 baseball for the last 4 months and get into the playoffs.
I'd almost rather that happened.
I mean, so would I, but
rather that happen than be great all year and flame out in the first or second round of the postseason.
Think of how awesome those last 4 months in 2024 were, and they still almost didn't make it. Mm-hmm. They had to be perfect the last 4 months, and they did. You can't expect teams to be doing that every year. So there's that side of it, but then there is also the side of the optimistic person where it's like, hey, they were 6.5 games out in 2024 and they made it, so why can't they do that this year? We're not going to sit here and say that the season's dead, right? Like we're still going. It's only May. They're 14-23. Why can't they go 23-14 over the next 37 and be back to 500?
Because of what you wanted to talk about earlier, and that's you had Vidal Brujan and Andy Ibanez, and Austin Slater and Brett Beatty in a lineup all at the same time. That's why ultimately they, right now at least, they can't go 23-14 over their next whatever. And you talk about the guys coming back. Like, what was Polanco doing? Robert was doing nothing when he got hurt. Obviously, Lindor is a massive loss, and when he comes back, you'll be excited. But I'm not overly excited about the guys that are currently injured coming back and making this massive impact. And by the way, according to Mendoza, Jorge Polanco's nowhere near ready.
The problem is, I hate doing this because I know that it's a waste of time. It's a waste of breath for both of us. It's a waste of breath for any fan that complains about it, is when they do this like matchup thing, right? Where they wanted to get Brujan and Slater and Andy Ibanez in there against the lefty. That's what they're going to do forever. As long as David Stearns is in charge and as long as Carlos Mendoza is the manager, that is going to be their approach. I actually respect them for being consistent with it. At least they're sticking to what they're telling us. Because apparently Austin Slater is this lefty specialist, right? And he actually had 2 hits on Thursday, so he could be excused from this conversation for now.
Well, he actually is, too. Technically, he's a lefty specialist.
I mean, come on, though. It's Austin Slater. Like, really? Saying. That's what we're going to here?
I'm just saying. He's a lefty specialist, Nico.
My point, though, being they threw away that game. Like, if they had the better hitters in the lineup, Benj has been red hot. MJ Melendez is the second best hitter on this team. If they play those guys, maybe they do score more than 2 runs and win the game.
You're preaching to the choir here, but I agree. I don't love, especially when you're in these dire situations where the lineup looks this bad, where you have so many guys out. You might have to go away from what you do, from what you believe in sometimes to get the better major league hitters in that lineup. Like, yeah, Slater, I agree with you. Slater, fine, he does. He's a lefty specialist. Great. We've been told he's a lefty specialist for years now, dating back to the Yankees. But you really can't have Melendez in there yesterday? In any, he pinch hit in the ninth and he struck out on 3 pitches, but he can't get in the starting lineup yesterday?
I just hate the stubbornness. And I know how I just said that I almost respect them, at least for sticking to their word, but there's got to be some type of, change on the fly, right? Like, it's a long season. It's not going to go exactly how you expect it to, but this is what they believe in, right? It's all about the computers and the numbers and the analytics, and they're telling you to play the right-handed hitters against the lefty. But Jose Quintana is not Tarek Skubal. MJ Melendez and Carson Benz should be able to get a hit off of Jose Quintana.
You would think.
It's unbelievable. Like, and I was so okay, like we talked about in the open, I was okay with the fact that they took 2 out of 3, but we really wanted the sweep because it would have made things feel a lot better going forward. And they were just like, yeah, whatever, we'll throw out this crap lineup because it's a lefty pitcher, and it's okay if we don't win today. We already won the series.
I mean, 15-22 sounds a lot better than 14-23.
When you're 14-22, you have to treat every game like a must win.
Yep.
And they're not doing that, but it's because, hey, the law of averages will tell you that we're going to be fine. It's a long season. We got this. Oh, the stubbornness is what drives me crazy. It drives me insane. We've talked about it so many times before, but it's especially with Stearns. He's so set in his ways.
I know. It's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. It sucks. How about Benj, though? Benj really coming around. I'm pumped. I'm pumped about this kid. He's been great defensively, obviously made a couple of great plays early in this series. And I know he had the misplay, but that play in right center field was nice. Hit the home run that day. RBI single, 2 RBI single on Wednesday. He's been, I think, everything you wished for right when you bring him up. He made an adjustment in his swing and his stance, and now you're starting to see the results.
Yeah, I think he was the one guy where you have to say, we got to be patient, right? And I know at the beginning of the year, everyone was struggling, so it was hard to really single anyone out, but we kept looking at Benj saying, is this guy a bust? Like, is he ever going to figure it out? It was too early to tell, and I think he's starting to turn the corner. We have to see it for longer, though, right? I mean, he's only been doing this for, a week and a half now? Is the last 10 games he's been hitting well? You got to see it for more, but the defense especially has been awesome. He's starting to swing the bat better. Maybe that's what they need. They just need someone to start going, and then everybody else will follow. Semien had 4 hits on Wednesday night. That was great to see. I know they're playing in Colorado, and it's supposed to be easy to score there. But you got to be happy about the fact that Semien had a 4-hit game. Maybe they'll get the ball rolling a little bit here.
It's funny that we last week we went through his numbers. I think it was last week. We went through Semien's numbers with runners at scoring position, and it's like, yeah, he's hitting like 3 high 2s, low 3s. Got an 800 OPS. He's been really good with guys in scoring position. I think he's in 330 with runners in scoring position. And the other night, I looked at his numbers, and he had before the 4-hit game like a 550 OPS. I was like, what is this? Like, how does this make sense? And now it's over 600. It's a nice 603. But it's just it's wild. And how about Vientos, by the way, too? You have that game on Monday where he hits those 2 balls, you think they're going out. But after that 2-home run game, he could have had another 2 if the wind was blowing the right way in Colorado.
I was actually going to use him as the example to counter the point with Semien with the OPS. The numbers right now are still so skewed because, like Vientos, for example, after he hits the 2 home runs on Sunday, his OPS was up to 750.
Mhm.
And you're thinking like, all right, hey, with all the other guys in the lineup that are down under 600, you'll take a guy with a 750 OPS. And now here we are 5 days later, and Vientos' OPS is back down to 675. So it's like one bad week and your OPS drops 75 points. It's the same thing with Semien, where he had the 1 4-hit game and it goes from 540 all the way up to 603.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the case most of the year. They're not going to jump 60 points in either direction.
Yeah, but I
based
also
on a
don't
couple games.
but I also don't think he's like a 700 OPS guy.
He had an
This year.
800 OPS in 2024. Why can't he be that guy?
That's a while ago. I don't was it 2024?
Yeah, because are you talking about Semien or Vientos?
I'm talking about Semien.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Vientos.
Oh, no. I was talking about Semien.
Semien, I think, yeah, he's been bad since I think 2023 was like his last.
That was his last
decent
really
year.
good year.
Yeah.
It's
Semien's definitely not an 800 OPS
No.
guy.
I mean, I don't think Vientos is an 800 OPS guy though.
But he doesn't need to be Semien.
Semien, no.
This is what we talked about at the beginning of the year. The big hitters are supposed to be Lindor when he comes back, Soto, Bichette, Vientos, Alvarez. Like, that's supposed to be your core of top 5 hitters in the lineup. And then the guys like Robert and Semien and Beatty can be at the bottom of the lineup, but just have 700, 720 type OPS seasons. Be relevant. I know they had Polanco hitting the cleanup spot when the year started because he had an 800 OPS last year. Okay, if he wants to come up and be a big contributor when he gets healthy, fine. But we didn't see that when he was playing at the beginning of the year.
I mean, I have no confidence whatsoever that Polanco comes back and is a productive player. Because that's just the way it goes. When you have these fringe guys that, were bounced around a little bit, had like a nice little breakout year, and then they sign with the Mets, like, what happens to those guys.
It's so frustrating.
Like, he had a 651 OPS in 2024 in 118 games, Polanco. That's the problem, is that this isn't a proven player.
I mean, he's been in the league for a while, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's a young guy who had one. Like Luis Robert is a guy that you're thinking like, oh, you can fix him because he's young enough. Polanco, what was the thought process? Like,
you're getting a major league bat. You're getting a professional bat.
Does Stearns know nothing about like contract years? He was so big on, hey, Alonso had this great year on a contract year, but we don't believe it's sustainable, so we're going to let him walk. But Jorge Polanco, that doesn't matter. We believe that Jorge Polanco is a major league hitter that can take big league at-bats and be clutch in crucial moments, take professional at-bats and get on base.
I think he also loved the flexibility of, we're going to teach him first, but he can play second and he can play third if we need him to. I think he loved that as well. But it's all for the wrong reasons. Everything was done for the wrong reasons.
They're 4-2 in the last 6, and somehow we've come here, and I'm aggravated. I'm
not
aggravated.
Happy. Like, I'm not happy.
The only thing, though, that I could say now at this point is I'm tired of talking about the past, right? Like, we're so set on like, oh, the offseason was terrible. They made all these bad moves. Yeah, it happened. We got to move forward, though. And if they're just in contention by June, July, August, I think we're going to be okay with that. Obviously, that's not the goal. But based on what's happened, you have to be satisfied with if I told you right now on July 1st, they're going to be 3 games out of the 3rd wild card, would you sign up for that? Because I would.
I guess.
You have to, right?
I mean, at this
point, what's the alternative?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
But, like, don't get me wrong, at the beginning of the year, that wasn't the goal. But right now, after they've started 14-23, it's all we could ask for.
Do you think that they, like, if they sweep Arizona, let's just say let's ask you for a lot. I mean, just check Arizona's record. mean, Arizona's not bad. You know, they're 500 team. They're 17-19. If they sweep Arizona, do they sort of come out of the irrelevant? I think they're really getting close to the irrelevant category right now. The Mets are. Do they start to bring themselves
what do
out
you
of
mean
that?
irrelevant?
Like nobody's going to be talking about them in a few weeks. Like they're not a major story anymore.
I guess, yeah. I mean, if they're still 7 games out,
Yeah.
right? They have to be. Why would anyone be talking? I mean, I guess in New York locally, yeah, because what else is there to talk about over the summer besides baseball? But in terms of like major league storylines, no one's going
I
to talk
even
about
think in
them.
this city, though, I think they get overlooked. I think in the summertime, it'll just be the Yankees are rolling and football starting. Like I don't think the Mets are this massive. I think they just become irrelevant like they have been in the past before Cohen bought the team.
But that's why I think this next month plus is so crucial.
Yeah, to not be irrelevant in the summertime. That's their biggest thing right now. Not even to make the playoffs, just give yourself a chance to make the postseason. Because you don't want to be that irrelevant team, that irrelevant story in the middle of the summer.
Let me throw this at you because I'm kind of torn on it.
Yeah.
Is it almost better if they're not good and they sell at the deadline?
No, I don't think there's any positive to that.
Because I think if they do what they did last year and win 83, 84 games and miss the playoffs, that's worst case scenario. For me, at least.
I don't think you have these great players to sell off besides Freddie Peralta. So I don't think you're missing out on much. Like, I think Peralta's like your big ticket item. Great.
I have sat here for the last couple of weeks talking about how all I want at this point is to be relevant, like you just mentioned, be in the conversation when talking about the playoffs. I want to be able to go to games in July and have it mean something.
Right.
2023 was so awful. I had a 20-game package in 2022, and it was one of the most fun seasons I've had. 2024 obviously ranks above all, but that's for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I was going to so many games in 2022, and it was awesome. And then I got the package again in 2023 because I had so much fun the year before. I was like, yeah, this is money well spent. I'm going to do it again. I ended up not even going to the last 7 games because by the time we got to the trade deadline, they had sold everyone. So I had, 4 games in August, 3 games in September, didn't even go to any of them. Started giving them away to friends, tried to sell them. No one bought them. I was like, all right, whatever. I guess these are going to waste. I had no interest. I sat at home and watched the games. I'm not the type of guy that's just like, yeah, I'm going to give up and stop watching. I'll be in front of the TV for every pitch, but I'm not going to, go and spend money on food, beer, parking, train, whatever, to watch a team that's 15 games under 500 not playing for anything. So I've been the guy that's been saying I want them to be in contention the whole way. But if they just do what they did last year and miss the playoffs by 2 games, what does that do for them? I think at least if they could trade Peralta, maybe someone takes the chance on Bichette because he's been a proven guy in this league and is having one bad year.
Nobody's taking the money. That's the problem. The problem's the money.
You're telling me a team like the Cardinals wouldn't want that?
No, not even.
They have such a low payroll. They can't pay one guy $42 million.
There's a low payroll for a reason.
I think it's a low payroll because they're in a weird spot. They have a lot of young guys.
Nobody takes the Bichette contract. Nobody. Peralta, totally. Peralta is your piece to go move. And if you want to go move him. Regardless of you could be 4 games out of it. Okay? And listen to this take for a second. You could be within the margin, 3 games out of a wild card spot. Okay? And if David Stearns believes he can move Freddie Peralta for something close to the value he lost in the Peralta trade, how many times did we see him do something like that in Milwaukee? How many times have we seen the Brewers do that now where they're in contention, but they move a big piece for younger talent and cheaper talent? How many times have we seen the Rays do that?
It all depends on how confident he is about re-signing him in the offseason. Because you're actually right. He did that with Josh Hader, if you remember. The Brewers were like in first place in the NL Central, and he
Josh Hader.
sold Josh Hader to the Padres. And fans were like, what the hell is this? I thought we were going for it this year. And he was like, I know I'm not going to be able to pay him, so might as well get something for him now while I can. If that's the case where he knows he's not re-signing him in the offseason, absolutely you trade him. But if he believes he can keep him for the future,
and you get the prospect value or something close to the prospect value you lost in the trade, and hopefully at that point you're also thinking Jonah Tong's up, he's pitching well, Christian Scott's pitching, Christian Scott's been a little bit better here. Christian Scott's pitching better, and the Jake Wettinger, am I saying it right?
I think, yeah, it's the guy in AAA that's been doing great.
He's been killing it, and he was, there was some hype around him in spring training, coming into spring training, and he's got a 1.27 ERA start the year. So there's some stuff cooking in the minor leagues with this pitching staff. So that's the one thing I'll say. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stamp that right now. Regardless, Freddie Peralta is traded at the deadline.
Even if they're in a playoff spot,
yeah,
which I don't think they will be. I mean, I would love to say that, but if they are somehow in a playoff spot by the trade deadline, then that's awesome. But I don't think Cohen's going to allow that. Like, I think you're okay if it's, 3 games out and we still don't really believe in this team where they've been, playing better, but not, not like 700 baseball level like they were in 2024. If they're in a playoff spot, there's no way Cohen lets him do that.
You don't think so?
I don't think
Cohen
so.
steps in.
I think he has to.
And you wouldn't be okay with that. I'm not a big Freddie guy. So I don't. I wouldn't be anything lost on me if they traded Freddie.
I think if you're that confident that your team is good enough to win, then yeah, go for it. We just saw it with the Islanders, right? I know it's a different sport, but I'm using it as an example. I was sitting here saying that I don't believe that this team was good enough to win a championship this season, but they bought at the deadline and it ended up hurting them because they were in a playoff spot. Like, if you're in a playoff spot, I think they're going to go for it. Like, you don't think that a team in the AL, we have no idea what the landscape is going to look like in a couple months, but if they're still, right around 500, a team like the Mariners or the Tigers aren't going to buy. Looking at how weak the AL is, all of those teams are going to be sitting there saying, why can't we go on a run here?
I think a lot of teams are going to buy.
So why would the Mets be the only ones that don't?
I can't put myself, I can't wrap my brain around a world where they're in it and they have a chance and they're in a playoff spot. I can't see it right now.
That's why we're going to have to wait and see, because if they're in a playoff spot, I'd be shocked if they traded away Freddie, because the fan base is going to lose it if they do that. Cohen knows that. If they're 3 games out, though, and again, to your point, they're still not really a major story, and they're kind of just like flirting with the possibility of being in contention, then I could see it.
I'm scrolling on Twitter for a second. UFO disclosure expected today as Americans brace for bombshell release.
What?
I guess we're going to find out about UFOs today. I don't really know. And then somebody wrote Diana Rossini getting a day off or something like that. I'm obsessed. I don't know if you know, I'm obsessed with that story, by the way.
It's so ridiculous.
I'm obsessed with the story. I cannot stop. I cannot stop. I shouldn't say that. I can't stop I can't get enough of it. I love it.
Who cares?
I care.
It was cool at first, but now it's like there's more videos. I
wouldn't say it was cool.
All right, yeah, you're right. Not cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, fascinating.
Fascinating.
Right. But now it's just all right, old news, whatever.
No, I think the more that comes out, I don't think he's coaching the Patriots this year.
I'd be stunned.
I don't think he coaches.
With all of the nonsense that goes around that franchise, with Belichick, cheating and Brady with the Deflate Gate, and and Robert Kraft, like they are never gonna fire him. There's
No,
no way.
no, I agree with you. They are not going to fire him. They would never fire him for that. I think he leaves on his own for a year. I think he steps down for a little bit.
No chance. He was at OTAs this week with them.
I know. I just think it's going to get worse. And the wife's going to say, "Hey, I can't do this anymore. I need you to either we're done or you step away and you fix this."
That's ridiculous. With all the money he's making, she'll be fine.
When she gets divorced and she's at bang, and then she's got the money. So
then why does he need to walk away then if she's leaving him anyway?
She might not leave him. Maybe maybe it's true love. Maybe they're in love still.
Right, but then why would she want him to not make as much money?
He still got paid.
No, if he leaves the team on his own, he still gets paid? There's no way.
No, I'm saying like he still got paid for last year. He was paid for, obviously his time in Tennessee. Like he's got money. He's not walking out on, the rest of his fortunes.
I think it ruins his career and he's never getting a job again.
I think he goes right back in a year.
There's no way. No way.
We'll see. Arizona, you got McLean. You've got Holmes. That's 2 right there, baby. That's got to be 2 wins. And then Sunday's TBD. I don't know who starts Sunday, but at least 2 out of 3 here. If you can make a 6-3 road trip, fine. I would love 7-2. I'd love a sweep, but I'm not going to ask for that in Arizona. I think 2 out of 3. They win the first 2, lose Sunday. What do you think?
How many times have we sat here and said they got to win when Nolan's on the mound? And they've done that, once?
Yeah.
He's got a sub-3 ERA, and he's 1-2.
His first bad start, really, maybe of his career the other day.
I also don't like how they pull him so quickly. Like, they're so quick to give up on him.
Yeah.
Noticed it when he was pitching against Colorado, too, when they were at home this series that they got swept. He pitched game 1 of that doubleheader, and they were so quick to take him out. I know Brazivan ended up getting out of that jam, but
I think he was done. I think he was done at that point, but I wasn't watching when they took him out against the Angels. I kind of watched after he was out of the game. That's when I got home, and so I didn't notice what he looked like or anything.
I'm not going to sit here and say they should. They should win the games when McLean and Holmes pitch, and there's your first 2, and then you go into Sunday. I think it's Peterson's turn, so the reason why it's TBD is because it might be an opener again, which I actually don't mind if they want to do it that way because it worked on Sunday in Anaheim.
It worked. It also worked on what was that? Monday. It worked Monday.
So yeah,
did it. Who pitched Sunday?
Sunday was the day when Peterson.
No, Peterson went Monday against the.
You're right. Yes, Holmes was Sunday. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. So Monday in Colorado was when it worked. Yes,
it worked. It really worked.
His ERA, I forget the exact number, but Peterson's ERA, like as a reliever, is actually really good. I think it's like sub-2. So, and that's including the postseason. If you remember, he did it in the 2024 playoffs. Yeah. He was the guy that got the save in Game 3 of the wild card against Milwaukee.
Right.
So he can do it. If that's how they want to go, fine. The Dodgers won the World Series in 2024 when the Mets played them. 2 out of those 6 games were bullpen games, and they won the series.
Good point.
So screw it. You want to do it that way? Fine. As long as
if it needs to be done this way, it'll be done this way. That's it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh my God, they have to win the games where McLean and Holmes pitch because they never do. So if they're going to lose Friday when Nolan pitches and then win Saturday and Sunday, fine, whatever. I agree with you. I would love to take a sweep and come home with a 7-2 road trip. I'm just not banking on that. If they come home 6-3, I'll be excited.
We will be back at some point. I know Monday's Mother's Day. Sunday, is Mother's Day. That could be tough. So we'll figure out. Probably we'll be back on Monday, though, after this Diamondback series. We'll talk to you then. Make sure you check out YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. This is all available there. And, of course, the short form content on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and we'll be back next week.